r/ProRevenge.
I won over $5,000 for in court after a car accident that I caused? Okay, so just a little bit of info before I get into the story. Also, sorry this might get a little long, but I hope it's worth it. I, 22M, work construction and run a few crews, and I'm a foreman because I've been working in this field since I started working summers when I was 14. That's legal in my state. With this being said, I have a lot of experience and get paid really well. For my job I need a truck that can pull a lot of trailers and also get into a lot of sketchy job sites, especially in the winter, so I drive a new lifted pickup, F350. Anyways, let's get into it. So about 4 months ago now I got off work one day and just really didn't feel like making dinner, so I decided to go get myself the trusty Big Mac at McDonald's. Well, after I got my order I was going to pull out into the parking lot to drive home, and I was looking hard over to my left to see how busy the road was before I got over there. Well, I wasn't paying great attention to what was happening in front of me, and as I was creeping forward someone who was in front of me was stopped and not paying attention either. I ended up barely hitting his mirror and scraping his door with my front end. I immediately reversed and hopped out. I made sure the guy was okay and apologized, knowing it was my fault, and I asked him if he wanted to call the cops. Let's call him Brent. Brent says, "Nah bro, we are all good. If you just get me your insurance info I think we can get this taken care of." I was fine with that as there was no damage done to my truck and it's not required to call the cops for an accident if it occurs in a private parking lot. This is relevant later. We exchange info and he seems pretty cool, so I tell him to go get the damage bit and he'll just pay in cash so my insurance rates don't go up as long as he's okay with it. He says that's fine and we both just leave, and I feel like a moron. But all in all Brent seems like a cool dude and I just hope we can get it sorted out smoothly. About a month passes by and I haven't heard anything from Brent or the shop I told him to go to. Honestly, I wasn't too stressed about this because if he decided to not get it done, that's on him. Well, he calls me up one day at about noon saying he can't remember my name and he wanted to tell the guys at the shop who sent him there cause it seemed like we knew each other. I told him my name and the guys at the shop gave him a deal. Pretty sure they say this to everyone, lol. He sends me the bid for damages and it comes out to $2,403. This was more than I imagined, but I said to get it done and it'd take care of the bill afterward, and that was that. He hung up, said it was cool, and I went on with my day as usual. Another month goes by and I don't hear anything until Brent calls me up while I'm at work again and says, "Hey brother, I talked to the shop and they said they can't get me in for another 2 weeks or so, and they may end up charging me more if they find more damage." I say, "Okay, sounds good, just let me know man, I hope it goes smooth for you and I'm sorry for the inconvenience." He seems to take it good and I'm really trying to just be a good person. He responds with, "Well, after talking to my wife I'm okay if you just wanted to write a check for $2,500 and we can call it even." This seemed odd to me because why the hell wouldn't someone want their vehicle repairs all paid for? I say, "Okay man, let's set a time and place to meet and I'll get you paid." He liked the idea and ended the call by telling me he would let me know. Yet another month passes by and I hear nothing again. At this point I'm getting fed up and just want this situation to stop being over my head. He hits me up at 11 p.m. one night and asks if we can meet in town. I found this kind of disrespectful because I was nearly asleep and had to be at work at 5 a.m. the next day. Either way I said that was fine and took my $2,500 cash and wrote up a quick contract saying this payment would be accepted as payment in full for the damages, and by accepting it, it would release me from any and all liability. This was a pretty fair contract I believe, as it was the deal we had already made over the phone, just in writing. I get to the place we suggested as a meet-up spot, I give him the cash and he signs the contract without hardly even reading it, and he didn't want the copy. This was a red flag to me, but I just assumed he really didn't care about it all that much, so I just sent him the photo of the contract and go back home for some beauty sleep. As you can guess by now, another fucking month goes by with me just living life carefree and not a worry in the world about this stupid car accident. Well, I go to check my mail and I have a notice from this guy's lawyer that he is suing me for not paying after wrecking his car. This pissed me off, but I also knew I had plenty of text messages and a contract on my side. I immediately call Brent and he blocks my number. Luckily enough my girlfriend works for a lawyer, so I get him updated and he says he'd love to help. He lets me know I saved my ass by writing that contract, as any contract worth over $500 is to be held up in any level court in my state. I immediately get to work on my revenge. I remember on the side of this guy's car he had a business logo, and I took pictures of the damage, so I hop online and get to the BBB to look up who owns this company, thinking that surely he couldn't own the business because he is such an idiot. I was wrong. This guy owns the company, and I can see that he has about 12 one-star reviews, all in dispute because of his shady business practices, telling people it will cost one thing and charging them 4 times what he said it would. Sound familiar? Remember when he said the shop may charge more than the original $2,403? That's right, he was suing me for $10,000. 4 times what the shop told him it would cost. Unbelievable, he was trying his same sneaky shit on me. My lawyer takes note of this and we show up to court ready for war. This guy is sleazy. As we get there and all set up, he says, "You ready to give me more of daddy's money?" With a smirk. I guess just cause I'm young and drive a nice truck and could afford $2,500 lol. His lawyer gets up and starts trying to say BS from me hitting and running, and Brent barely got a picture of my license plate. I tried bullying him into taking a deal for only $2,500 when the damage was clearly more than that. There were obvious holes in his story and he really didn't have much to say. Just imagine the smile on my face as my lawyer lays out the printouts of our text messages and the physical copy of the contract, which was signed by Brent. His lawyer was ghostly white and looked sick. After laying out all of the evidence, my lawyer pulled out a little hidden gem, the printouts of all the complaints we found on the BBB and how he was doing the same thing to me. That was the final nail in the coffin, as the judge said he had seen enough. He asked Brent for any final statements and Brent said, "I don't even have the $2,500 anymore, can I just get that then and we will be okay?" Literally admitting to the judge that he had received my money and his story was just a load of horse shit. I thought his lawyer was gonna strangle him. It was beautiful. The judge ended up ruling in my favor and demanded him to pay my legal fees as well as damages and lost wages because I had to miss work to be in court. The absolute sweetest part was that this particular day my crew was on a very high wage job and I was technically the one getting paid before I paid them out as subcontractors. This means I was to be paid $4.75/hour, and this whole ordeal took about 5 hours. He ended up having to pay me almost $5,000. I don't think I've ever been so happy in my life. It was so long I just really felt the need to share. Thank you to anyone who made it this far.
A response to the post.
Love it. Did you get paid a lump sum, or did he have to set up a payment plan? Lol.
A response to this comment.
Maybe Brent had to ask his daddy for money, lol.
A response to the post.
Me and my buddy were at the bar one night and he tapped a car coming out of his spot. Super small mark on the car, and the owner agrees to not call the cops. They initially wanted to fight, but got over that pretty quick. My buddy said to just give him the bill and he'd take care of it. Couple days goes by and the guy says they got lucky. It's just gonna be a small paint touch-up. Should only cost a couple $100. My buddy meets up with him and gives him cash. A week goes by and the guy calls and says they discovered the whole bumper is cracked, so it's gonna be another $500. My buddy shows up, gives the guy the money. A couple more days and my buddy gets a call saying the frame is bent and it's gonna be a couple grand. I tell him not to answer the phone anymore. This dude is obviously shaking him down. He wasn't even hitting the gas when he hit the car. We were doing maybe 1 mile per hour. There's no way he caused any real damage. Dude called him a few times but eventually gave up.
A response to this comment.
The next call. Now you're in real trouble. Turns out I died and you have a wrongful death suite on your hands.
A response to the post.
I got hit by a kid. She was on her way to get her learner's permit and she switched into my lane. I moved over the first time because I saw her coming. But then we're all in the turn lane, so we're all good, right? Yeah, no. She kept on coming. Mom is upset. I know if involve the cops there's a slight chance CPS gets involved and I feel bad. I get mom's info. It took me about 2 weeks. I got 4 quotes to be fair to the mom. Mom disappears on me for a few days and I'm wondering if I gotta call the police now. She wanted to pay the car place, which was all good. I had prior damage and I explained to the guy I wanted to separate the charges, so she paid for the damage she did. Eventually I hear back from her and she just drops off the check at my workplace randomly. Like I was causing this inconvenience, I had to pay for a rental out of pocket for 2 weeks on top of it. I'd have been so happy if I was dealing with someone like you. People are stupid.
A response to this comment.
If I didn't cause the accident, I always just call my insurance to sort it out. We paid premium for the insurance service, right? This is also why I always get full coverage. Despite my car is kinda shitty. With full coverage, they will take care of you, and they will go after the other party, and will return the deductible back to you later.